Stick with these words until the end, okay? You're angry, you're lazy, you eat too much, you love hospitals, you love to seek attention. Let me introduce myself. I'm Lenity. Today I'm just Lenity. But before I go ahead and share my story, I want to share a post that I saw in one of the groups of autoimmune. Now, a lady posted and she wrote, I don't want to sound like a wimp, but this lupus is overwhelming. When you are trying to talk about it to your family or even friends, they brush you off. They start talking about how they ate too and they are tired. I just stopped talking and my anxiety can't take it anymore. Why do people do this? I was able to get some responses from the post, and the first response was, I know how you feel. It's sad that people don't want to listen and learn about what you're experiencing. I have two sisters, not siblings here. I have two sisters who think I'm looking for attention. They're over 30 years of age. Don't get discouraged. Keep advocating for yourself. You are important. The other one, the response was, I completely understand what you're saying. I was diagnosed with degenerative disc disease back in 2011. Then 2012, I was diagnosed with lupus and rheumatoid arthritis, and finally I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I am in pain daily and it gets dismissed by everybody in my family. I have severe pains every day and still they ask for favors from me. The other one said, I have stopped talking to certain people that don't get it and make my blood pressure rise. Trying to explain my issue is not because I am old, because they think I am old, that's why I'm sick. I've had this problem or condition for the last 32 years. The other one said, I had to learn to manage my life because lupus sucks. I set boundaries because my body doesn't allow me to do what I used to do. We may look fine, but we are not. I had to shut out all these voices in order to survive. And the last one, yes, it's very overwhelming. And your friends and family should be the first people you feel safe with, but they don't understand. People who don't have lupus will never understand the daily pain, the fatigue. One day you wake up, you're okay. The next, you can't even get out of bed. Now, autoimmune is one of the rarest diseases that people can be diagnosed with. And it can take time by the time the doctors diagnose it, because it can mimic so many symptoms. That's why I want to share my story, because I also saw a lot of posts on Instagram. People are mocking Raida Jr. because of his condition, facial paralysis. And I felt I think I should talk about it, because this is disgusting. For real. To mock someone because of their condition, it is disgusting. So, let me share my story. I give you a simple glimpse of what really happens. By the time somebody gets to be diagnosed with an autoimmune, the journey, the pain they go through, the trauma, what they go through, not just the physical illness, but even the society, the family and friends, and even strangers, because the ones who are trolling these people sometimes see on social media, they're strangers. They don't even know these people. It's so sad. So I will get some of my major events in my life I want to share with, so that you can understand. And I know there are other celebrities like Celine Dion who shared a story too very well during a journey with cortisol. And I want to share part of my journey too, up to where I am now. So maybe people will understand what somebody goes through by the time you are diagnosed with an autoimmune or a chronic disease. People don't talk about what they go through mentally. They don't talk about that. They just tell you that they have a condition, but they have not told you their journey by the time they were diagnosed. So I'll go back to when I was in grade 6, because that's when I can really remember, from the time I can remember. Back in grade 6, I started experiencing some skin breakouts on my face, and I remember I had some sores under my armpit and my thighs. Then I thought they were boils, but later on I came to learn it was mass. I was given some Septrin, which didn't work, from the sick bay. I was in a boarding school. Then I was given some amoxicills, still they didn't work. So I was sent to the nearest government facility, and I was administered with Rosfin. That is injection for 3 days. I had to take Rosfin injections for 3 days. By the time all this is happening, my feet started swelling from the knee down. It was so painful, I couldn't even walk. My whole body, the lymph nodes are all in pain. My entire body was in pain. Now, because of the swelling of the feet, the kids were mocking me, calling me elephantiasis. Behind my back. It wasn't easy. You're not talking about it. You're in pain. So I was sent home for treatment, because the Rosfin didn't work too. So when I was sent home, I was taken to a general hospital, and the doctor who saw me administered augmentins. And for a period of time, I was okay until in Form 2, when the symptoms resurfaced again. And now I had tonsillitis. And tonsillitis, according to my mom, I've had tonsillitis from when I was a very young child. So now I have tonsillitis that are so painful, I can't feed well. My feet are swollen again. I have the skin breakout again, and now it's so severe. So again, I'm taken to the hospital. Now that is in Form 2, second term. I go to the hospital. They administer again some antibiotic. They didn't work, so I was sent home. You see all these distractions. Everybody is at school. You're here treating illnesses. Do you ask questions? Yes, I did. What is wrong with me? Why am I the only person who is sick? Why do I always get sick? All this is going on through your mind as young as you are. So I go home again. I'm taken to the hospital. They administer augmentins again, and the symptoms subside. And all this time, they were treating tonsils. They thought tonsils are the ones that are causing all these problems. So I go to college. I'm good. Then I get my first job in Nakuru. That is 2008. And again in Nakuru, the same symptoms resurface. And this time, they're accompanied by breathing issues. That time, I didn't understand why, but I was in charge of a go down where we have raw materials from a company, a tobacco company, and selling cigarettes. Yeah? So I was in charge of the go down and the store. So I think that is what was affecting me, but I didn't know. So I attend one of the government facilities, and this time the doctor prescribes penicillin. Penicillin is so painful. It's an injection. Because I remember the nurse told me, my dear, go and take a very heavy lunch, then you come back. I didn't understand what she meant. So they administered penicillin. That was in 2008. 2007. 2007. So it worked for some time until 2008. It resurfaced again. Tonsillitis, sudden feet, breathing issues. So now I'm back in Nairobi, and I checked myself in another government facility around Jogoo Road, Makandara, for those who know Makandara. And again, the doctor prescribes penicillin injection. I remember the one that was administered in Nakuru, it was so painful. So for those who have had penicillin, they know how penicillin is painful. So the nurse again told me the same words, go and have something heavy, then you come, we administer the injection. My dear, she's still waiting. There's no way I'm getting that injection. Trauma and phobia. I'm afraid of that injection until date. So all these things are happening. The bullying, the mocking, the shaming, the injections. You're having all these traumas and you're not talking to anyone. Why? You're told to be strong. Sometimes you ask the nurses or the doctors, why am I sick? They tell you sickness, being sick is normal. My dear, being sick is not normal. They tell you being sick is normal. So somehow I was able to get argumentings and I took them. But I'm not encouraging you to medicate yourself. Okay? So I took argumenting and I was okay for some time until 2010. When I started experiencing now new symptoms, not tonsillitis anymore, but severe headaches. Very severe headache. So I went to the hospital. By now I had a job, so life was good. I had insurance cover, I had NHIF and private insurance cover. So I went to a nice hospital and they tested everything. Nothing could show. Everything came out negative. From HIV, meningitis, typhoid, anything they could think of, and nothing was showing in those tests. I'm in so much pain. So now they're giving me antibiotics, but they're not working because they don't even know what they're treating, because nothing is showing. The lymph nodes are really, really raging war. I'm in a lot of pain. So one of the doctors tells me, because of the headache, why don't you go for eye clinic? So I went to one of the hospital facilities for eye clinic here in Nairobi, and they checked, my eyes were okay. So the doctor again decides, even if it's an eye clinic, why don't you take some test, blood test, again from HIV, meningitis, typhoid, malaria, whatever they could think of. Still they could not get anything. My headache is still killing me. And guys, that is how I started getting addicted to painkillers. Because I need to function, to go to work. I need to go to classes. Now, I started taking paracetamols now and then, to a point where now paracetamols were not working anymore. Now I'm medicating myself because I need to function. You have to work, right? You have to do your daily routines, right? So I'm addicted to paracetamol. It came to a point now that paracetamol is not working anymore. So I started taking beta pills. And within an hour, the beta pain is not working. So I had some paracetamol. So within 1 hour, I've taken 4 tablets. Not to mention, I was chewing on aspirins, like snacks, now and then, to make sure I don't have that headache. With time, it got worse. Now let me take you to 2015, from July onwards. So in 2015 now, still with my headache, treating it with the medications that are not working and painkillers that I'm addicted to. 2015 came, I started experiencing fatigue and imbalance, and a lot of pain on my left ear. So now I go to an ENT who administers some antibiotic, clarithromycin. It didn't work. He gave clarithromycin and beta-sac for balance because of the fatigue. I couldn't walk straight. Now it was even affecting my speech, pronunciations. So it went on from July until September, mid-September 2015, when I lost my left ear. And still, I go to audiology clinic, to ENT, and they tell me there's nothing wrong with my ear. I can hear loud noises right now. I don't use any aid. There's no need. I can hear loud noises, but still until now they have never known the cause. Okay, that is 2015. So I take you to 2016. I said I'll be getting major events. So I take you to 2015. Now I'm with painkillers and beta-sac for balance. With time, the fatigue disappeared. Okay, so in 2016, late 2016, it was October 2016, and already checked myself back in campus. So I was doing evening classes. I remember it was on a Wednesday. I woke up with a very strong headache again, and I decided to go and check my ophthalmologist. And because the headache was fixated on my eyes, so I decided to go and check on my ophthalmologist. So I checked myself in. He was in town, and the campus is in town too. So I passed by the ophthalmologist, and he prescribes some specs, a higher power, because he says, you know what, but I can see. So he said, let's change the specs. Maybe that is the reason. But that day something was off. My spirit was not okay. Remember, I'm still chewing on betapins, paracetamols, and aspirins. I would buy aspirins for 50 bob. Those are like 50 aspirins, or if you buy in also, those were like 100 aspirins. And in 2 days, I don't have aspirins. I'm chewing on them like you know, groundnuts, like popcorns. So he administers the specs, but I declined to pick them, to pay. I had the money, but I refused. I don't know, my spirit was not okay that day. So he prescribed some eye drops and some painkillers. Still, I'm not talking to anybody about what is going on with me. I'm not telling them I'm addicted even to painkillers. It's just me and my Lord. So I go to school. It was around 10 o'clock. I check in. I go to the library the whole day with my painkillers throughout the day. So because I had assignments to submit, and we had a class that evening. So by 5, I go down and I meet one of my colleagues or comrades in campus. So I give her my assignment to submit for me, because now I was not feeling okay. I knew there was something wrong, but I couldn't pinpoint what was wrong. But I knew that my spirit was not okay. It was not just the headache. Something was wrong. I couldn't feel it. So I gave her the assignment to submit for me and the login sheet, because I was the class representative. So I left for home. Before I leave for home, I pass through the supermarket. I buy some yogurt and I go home. Before I left, I took beta pills again. Within 45 minutes, the headache is back. I took paracetamol. Now, in the span of 45 minutes, I've taken 2 beta pills and 2 paracetamols, and the headache is not subsiding. I'm switching on aspirins. So I get home at around 6:15. By the time I get home, I realized my vision, I had this blurred vision. I could not see clearly. Something wasn't right. Then I started experiencing fatigue again. But thank God I was already home. So when I started experiencing fatigue, I threw up so bad. So bad. And after I threw up, the headache subsided, my vision was back, and the fever was gone. So I decided, you know what, let me go and prepare some dinner. So I go and prepare some dinner. But this time I didn't have painkillers in I forgot to buy more. They were finished. I did not replenish. I forgot to buy more this day. So I go and prepare some dinner. I'm not okay still. I feel so weak. And I think maybe it's because I've not eaten lunch during the day. So I tried to eat, but I couldn't. I was so weak. So I decided, let me just go and sleep. It was around 8:20, I remember. I checked my watch. So I go to sleep. And I fall asleep. At around 3 a.m. at night, I'm woken up by a very, very sharp pain on my head here. Very sharp pain. Like someone was banging a hammer on my head. So I sit up. I'm holding my head. I remember I don't have painkillers in the house. I had to think fast, because now I'm shivering. I have fever. I'm shaking. The pain is too much. So I take deep heat and I apply it on my head. I had cornrows, and I start undoing the cornrows. I felt they are very tight, but they were cornrows for 1 week, and I felt they were very tight. I've never had cornrows until now. From 2016 until now, I've not done cornrows. So I undo my hair. The headache is not subsiding. I decide, you know what, maybe if I take a cold shower, it will help. So I go and take a cold shower. In the shower, the headache subsides. When I go off the shower, it returns. So I decided, let me sit here for some time. It's 3 at night with a cold shower. Then I couldn't sit there for long. Now I decided I have to think fast. I go pick a frozen packet of milk and place it on my head. And it worked. I could not feel the headache anymore because of that cold frozen packet of milk. So I tied it on my head throughout the night. And I slept off until 6 in the morning when my alarm goes off. So when the alarm goes off, I switch on the light. You know the silent light on your bed? I switch on the light. I can clearly feel I'm blinking, but it's dark. So what I'm saying is I can't see. So I shout for help. My nanny comes in because I was waking up to go and prepare some breakfast so that I can leave. Remember, we have exams. Now I can't see, so I have to be assisted. Somehow I'm calm, I'm numb, or I don't know. I think I was in shock because I was so calm. I was assisted to dress up because now I have to go to the hospital. And then I have this hoarse voice. I didn't have a cold, no, but this hoarse voice. And now I can't see. It's dark. So they assist me to dress up. And then they help me to take breakfast. So I'm handed a cup of tea and I tried to swallow it. The tea could not pass my throat. It popped out through my nose. I'm still calm, or maybe I'm in shock because now I can't see. I have this hoarse voice and I can't swallow anything. Nothing is passing through my throat. So I'm checked in at the emergency, and the doctor who comes asks for emergency brain scan. So an MRI is done, a CT scan and an MRI is done. So he calls me in and tells me, Lenity, what you have is not under my docket. And I ask him, what do you mean? He says, I have to refer you to the neurosurgeon. Just seated there listening. Why are you taking me to the neurosurgeon? Because you have a brain inflammation. Still, I don't panic. I think I'm in shock. Or I'm numb of something. I'm in shock. I think I'm numb. I can't remember. I was just numb. No reaction. I'm not crying. I'm just numb. Okay? So now I'm taken to the neurosurgeon. And I go in. I'm still being assisted even to walk because I can't see clearly. So they have to hold my hand and direct me where to go. So I'm taken to the neurosurgeon. And he administers dexamethasones. These are very strong steroids. And he says, let me first administer dexamethasones to help you with your eyesight. So for 1 week, I'm taking dexamethasones. But before that, he prepares me and he tells me, Lenity, this medication, you gain a lot of weight in a very short period of time. And actually I did. Because it gave me this moon face. If you don't know what is a moon face, go and check on Google. You can Google what is a moon face. I was so swollen. You could see this not normal kind of weight gain, yeah? And apart from the moon face, my weight went up. Before I had my baby in 2012, I was 56 kgs. Now I'm 80. I'm over 80 something, 86 tops. within a very short period of time. So he administers the dexamethasone. We continue the tests, and he tells me it could be psychoidosis. My friends, I've never heard that name. Maybe even you, it's the first time you're hearing it. It could be psychoidosis. So if it is psychoidosis, then it's not in my docket again. So now I'm referring you to another doctor, because now it is an inflammation, not a tumor that I can remove. So now I'm referred to a neurologist, yeah? And he prepares me and tells me the neurologist I'm taking you to does not leave any stones unturned. Okay? So I'm taken to a neurologist. Now I'm admitted in the hospital. Yeah? That is adding now 2017 from 2016. And when I check in the office of this neurologist, the nurse tells me, be ready, because the test that he is going to do on you, be ready. And to me, I mean, what the worst can happen? I've had this test before, because I thought they're just blood tests, so I can take it, you know. Whew, my friend, I'm telling you, from lumbar puncture to broncho scanning, MRIs that are not they're endless, CT scans, ultra scans, blood withdrawals, trauma after trauma after trauma. The lumbar puncture was the worst. The LP was the worst, where they have to draw a fluid from your spine. Yeah. A process that you don't require numbing, because these are a nerve. So there's no you can numb a nerve, you damage it. So you can feel everything they're doing. And it wasn't the first one. I want to go for another one too. And still, they're not getting anything. Okay? So now we are in a cubicle of 6 people. They're all having the autoimmune issues. Different issues. One of them was cancer. I remember the one we were close with was cancer. I remember. So we started a prayer group. Yeah? We could pray in the morning, praise and worship, encourage one another. No? I was in bed 13. And there was a lady in bed 14. She had just arrived. And so she went for a morning walk. We would go for morning walk and bask in the sun. She comes back and she sits on the floor. I'm watching her, she's smiling at me, seated on the floor. The nurses rushing to try and pick her up. And the next minute, she's being resuscitated. And she was gone within seconds. Everybody in the ward is now quiet. What goes on in our heads? Will I make it? She just went for a walk. She was okay by herself. She comes back and she's normal. Another trauma that people don't talk about. You have had mates with you, but they're normal. That's another trauma. And you start asking yourself, what will happen to my child or my children? Still, the doctors, they don't get anything. So I wake up one morning. This is a long post, I can say that, but stay with me. Why? Stay with me. I wake up one morning and the doctors now are surrounding my bed. For a minute I thought they're viewing my body, but thank God I'm here. So I wake up one morning and the doctors are they're surrounding my bed, and they're like, last night we discussed and decided that you go for biopsy, occipital craniotomy. How I understood it is that they're going to open my brain on my right side, get a sample, and take it to the lab to understand what is going on, because they're not getting any results. Okay. So I'm a very obedient child. I told them fine, but before that, please, can I at least, because it was on a Friday and the procedure was to be done on a Monday. So I tell my neurologist who had admitted me, please, can you discharge me? At least I go and see my son. I come back on Sunday, prepare me for the procedure. And I asked for full report. I think he understood that I'm not coming back. So I go home, they discharge me. I'm still in pain. He gave me some medication to go home with. By this time, I have hyperinsomnia, I would say, for 2 or 3 days without sleep because of side effects of steroids. There are those who there are those who get insomnia. I'm one of them. I couldn't sleep. So now you're being sedated. So as I went home, he gave me some amitriptyline. Now I'm addicted to amitriptyline because so that I can sleep at night. Okay. So came Monday, I didn't go back. I decided to seek a second opinion. So I go to a national hospital. So here I don't know who I'm going to see, but I know I'm going to see a neurosurgeon, but I have no one in mind. I get there at around 6:45. You know, a national hospital, it's very packed. So I asked a soldier at the door, I need to see a neurosurgeon, and he points at a board, a list of neurosurgeons. So I do my picky ponky and I land on one. I check the room number and I go there. I meet the receptionist and I explain myself. Lucky enough, nobody had checked in. So I was the first to go in. So I go in. I go in. I explain myself. I give my reports and the scans I had. And he tells me, I assure you, Lenity, this is not psychoidosis. But I cannot rule that out. Why don't you go and get some scans done and bring them to me? Have your scans done in 2 different places. So I go get some MRIs in 2 different places. And I come back, not same day, but I come back. He says, yes, there is an inflammation. But it's not, I assure you, it's not. Psychoidosis is a very rare condition. So it tells me this is out of my docket, just like before. Now you're frustrated. Okay. He refers me to another doctor in another hospital. He tells me, now this is not a neurosurgeon, he's a cardiologist, but he's very well connected. He's going to help you. I mean, I need help and I need a second opinion before I go for biopsy. So I go to this cardiologist. He looks at my reports and he tells me, you know what? I'll send you to a lab where you're going to draw your blood and you are going to send them to South Africa. But we did 2 places, South Africa and India. So now I have to wait for 2 months to get my results. Still nothing is being found. Now in those two months, he had to manage my condition. So I stayed with the cardiologist. My pressure was very high. He did some echoes to make sure that I'm okay, my heart is okay, as I wait for the results. So the results are back from India, and the ANA and ANC shows that there are some antibodies. Okay, remember the reference, the antibodies. But now what they are saying, it's not sarcoidosis, it is undifferentiated connective tissue disorder. Why undifferentiated? I have the symptoms of connective tissue disorder, but it did not meet the full criteria. So that is what I'm working with, not sarcoidosis anymore. So now it's not in his docket. I'm referred to an autoimmune doctor now to deal with the connective tissue disorder. And now I pack again my report, my scans, and now I'm advised from India and South Africa. I'm advised either I do for the inflammation, either I do, because they weren't sure, either I do radiation or chemotherapy. Definitely, you know what I chose? Chemo, not radiation. There's no you're toasting my brains. So I go to this new doctor now for autoimmune, and he decides, let's wait a bit with the chemotherapy, and he administers hydroxychloroquine. And I started taking hydroxychloroquines, and now the painkillers are not working anymore. Paracetamols are not working. So now I'm under Airto. Airto is very strong painkiller. So with time, it was working. And then it stopped. The headache is back. I go back to my doctor, he's out of the country. So now I have to look for another doctor because I couldn't wait for another doctor, specialist in autoimmunes. So now I start my journey again, because now he cannot use what I have. He wants his own report and to see the progress. So I start again the scans, the blood test, another trauma. So now it's not undifferentiated connective tissue disorder, it's probable lupus. I'm frustrated because the symptoms I have, they are mimicking sarcoidosis, undifferentiated connective tissue disorder, and lupus, but they are not meeting full criteria. So it's probable lupus. Now my left eye has started being inflamed. So I'm working with the ophthalmologist too. The first time I thought it was, or they thought it was Graves' disease. It was protruding, Graves' disease. Later on, it's not Graves' disease. It's uveitis. Now you're confused. Still you're not talking to anybody. You're taking it all in. You're using your painkillers as usual to function daily. And you remember when I told you I was administered with dexamethasone and I gained a lot of weight, the moon phase and everything? What comes? Mocking, shaming. I remember one of them, major supermarket in Embu. I was going home and decided to pass by. And these people who man the shelves, the shelves, there were two of them, a young guy and a young girl. I could hear them laughing, but I thought, they're just having their own, conversation. So I passed by the pastry side and I wanted to pick some pastry. And they laughed so loud. No, this time I had to turn and check what's the fuss. And one of them looks at me and says, "Nikinona hivyo nitaacha kula. If I'm fat like that, I'll stop eating." Now, these are people who don't know me. And here they are mocking me, trolling me, shaming me because how big I am, how fat I am. Why am I saying all these things? Apart from the poster I've told you, I saw people trolling Raila Jr. because of his condition. These are people that even don't know a story. They don't know what someone goes through to get to where they are, to fight for their life. Some scars you see people with, to them, is a blessing to be alive. So by the time you start mocking and shaming somebody, you shouldn't think twice. So these two nitwits, you can clearly tell their brains and wisdom is on another planet because they're not connecting their brains and their mouths. They can't filter what is coming out of their mouth. So I just leave. Is it the first time I experienced that? No. Remember the words I told you? You're hungry, you're lazy, you eat too much, you love hospitals, you love to seek attention. I remember somebody coming to my bedside in the hospital to actually tell me I love hospitals. You left your home to come and tell me I love hospitals because a hospital is a Miami Beach. I'm basking in the sun, or Las Vegas with some cocktails, or maybe to you, so nurse is serving me and a cocktail of medication. The only thing missing was the gambling machines, maybe. So before you open your mouth, can you ask yourself, what if it was me? What if it is you? Sometimes just shut the hell up. Today I told you I'm just Lenity, not a psychologist. Sometimes shut the hell up. There's no it's written you must talk. You don't have to talk. Shut up. You have nothing nice to say about a person. Shut up. It's enough. Sometimes you have seen this post. The sister's telling her she's just want to seek attention. This is just a small group. I'm in several groups. I joined psychosis group. I joined lupus and connective tissue disorder because I needed to understand all these conditions. All these things you're facing alone. Your body is waging war. And then the society is also waging war. You're stressed out. You look in the mirror, you don't recognize yourself anymore. There are people going through depression because of these conditions and what they're going through from their friends and families. Your words can kill somebody. Your words can damage somebody's life. Your actions can hurt somebody, and people, they don't forget how you made them feel. So I'm going through all this. I'm not talking to anybody. Why? I think I developed a coping mechanism where I block and I think everything is okay. Because why? You're told you need to be strong, right? You're the strong one. So I go now, it is probable lupus. I start again the test, the trauma, the frustration, trying to figure out what is wrong with you. Now you're working with the cardiologist, you're working with the ENT, you're working with the specialist you're with, you're working with so many doctors, endocrinologists, because now your hormones are also not balancing out. So a lot is happening. Remember, I had to defer my school. My education was distracted. My businesses are falling. My work is falling. Most of the time I'm not at home to cater for my child. I'm missing some milestones in his life. Here I'm fighting these idiots who are insulting you and disrespecting you. So I want to tell these people who are suffering from these conditions or any other problem that you're going through in your life, and people are mocking you. Let me tell you something. We have idiotic, mannerless, shameless, sadistic, narcissistic, psychopaths, sociopaths out there. These are people who thrive through chaos by putting other people down to make themselves feel better for their insecurities. Don't let these people destroy your life, take away your happiness. Don't give them that chance. If you have to stand up for yourself, do so. Sometimes it's not preaching, it's not talking, but defend yourself. There's a time for not preaching and talking. Defend yourself. Don't let people disrespect you. Okay? So now let's continue. So I go to now my joints now, they join the party. So I had to go and check in with the chiropractor, and the chiropractor checks my scans. That's why I want to tell you, my dear ones, don't give up in life. If I hadn't given up, I wouldn't have gotten where I am right now. What I'm trying to say is, I go to the chiropractor, he looks at my scans, and he notices some inflammation, sinuses, very inflamed. And I remember when we were doing all these scans, we could see the inflamed sinuses, but we never addressed them. We were so bent on addressing the headache, we overlooked the sinuses. And you remember back in Nakuru, because of the go down, and when I was a child, I had these. From when I was a child, I have allergies. Pollen and settled dust, we are not friends. So, and you remember in Nakuru, I had started these breathing issues, but still nobody addressed the sinuses. So he asked me, go and see an ENT and look at the sinuses. So now I go to an ENT and they do a scan, visual scan. And they really inflamed. So this is what is causing all this inflammation. My eye, this is what caused the damage from my ears, and this is what is causing the inflammation on the left side. So now I'm put under a long period of antibiotics, clindamycin, for a long period of time, and nasal sprays. And after that I was to do some irrigation, but they gave me something for steaming back at home, Cavo. But Cavo was not working well with me because of smells. To give me nausea. So I decided to look for menthol and eucalyptus. So I was steaming with menthol crystals or eucalyptus. Somehow I was able to, with the antibiotics, the nasal sprays, and steaming consistently, I was able to drain it all out. And guess what? The headache were gone. But no, I have chronic sinuses. Sinuses and allergies, they don't have treatment. You manage them. No, the headache, I'm okay. So now I'm back to myself. And things start falling apart. Remember, I was so occupied with getting better, I overlooked everything else because you're in pain, which is understandable. Now you're okay. Where do I start from? I'm looking for a job. Do I start a business? Do I look for a job? I'm applying for jobs. I'm back in school. My people, it's not easy. I start falling apart. Sometimes you feel you're left behind because since 2016 to 2018, in and out of hospitals, 2 groups graduated. I'm left behind. That's what goes on in our minds, right? You can check other people's lives, your friends, your mates, they're doing well, and you're stuck. So I'm trying to start my life again after the ordeal. I notice I'm not okay. During these periods, I'm not telling myself that I can go for counseling. No. And the same chiropractor tells me, Lenity, because now I'm still working with him, tells me, Lenity, have you ever tried counseling? Remember, I'm a student, I'm a psychology student, but I'm not telling myself I can go for counseling. You know, when you're in pain, there are things you don't, you're so concentrated on removing this pain that you don't remember some things. So it tells me, Lenity, can you go for counseling? And that is how I started counseling, therapies. And I'm telling you, the first 3 sessions, I cried throughout. I didn't know and bottled so much hunger, so much bitterness inside from friends, family, and these other idiots out there. And with time, I started healing slowly by slowly. By the time I was in the 15th session, I could talk like I'm talking now. I was able to manage my emotions. I was able to manage my time. I was able to track my flare-ups and my triggers, because all these through the sessions, the therapist will help you out. Don't say just because somebody is a doctor, they don't get sick. I'm a psychologist, but I also need someone to help me out, just like I help others. And when my emotional balance and my mental health was stable, so many things happened. And the first one was my motivation, my creativity, my motivation. You would think someone has given me a gift. So when my mental health and emotions were stable. So many things happened. My motivation. I could make decisions, well-informed decisions, not out of emotions. I could be able to track my flare-ups. When a flare-up comes, I would understand what it is about, whether it is just an allergy. I would know what has triggered it, whether it's pollen, whether it's perfumes, whether it's dust. I would know what has triggered it, and I would be able to manage it. My energy went up because now when you're stable mentally, your energy comes back. And guess what? Last week I went for a checkup and I've lost 2 kgs effortlessly because I was managing my hormones, but I was not looking at my mental state. And sometimes our cortisol levels, ladies, I'm talking to you, your cortisol levels are very high. There are so many things you're going through in life, and according to research, this autoimmune is affecting mostly women. And most of the women, their cortisol levels are very, very high. And they tamper with their hormones. Now you're here trying to manage your hormones with hormone therapy or medication. And it takes time, or it works and then it goes back. My dear ones, address your mental health, your environment, your inner peace, and your environment. Once your stress levels go down, your hormones will start going down. Your cortisol levels will start leveling. So you couple that now with the hormonal therapy and medication, it will work. It will start working. This has happened to me. When you see me here seated and talking to you, it's working. So I see these ladies in these groups asking about what do you do with energy? Can you start with the mental checkup? That's why I was doing this video. I want to advocate for mental checkup for everybody. Not just anybody, not just the one who are going through issues in life. Mental checkup is for everybody. You don't have to be going through something for you to get mental checkup. Because if I was informed, if I had done this mental checkup early enough, maybe I could not even be addicted to the medication I was going through. The medication I was taking and administering myself as painkillers. Because you remember when I said I started experiencing some blurred vision, fatigue, I started throwing up, I didn't know that I had poisoned my body. I later on came to understand that I had really poisoned my body with painkillers. Okay, so if you're going through these autoimmune or chronic diseases, first thing you have to do, please seek mental checkup and let it be consistent. Trust me, it will work for you. Your life will really improve. Your life will really, really improve. I can tell you now, I look at girls looks at me and they say, not this bitch. Let me tell you that. I see things are falling and I just look at them. I even push them to fall to pave way for me. Before, I couldn't. I didn't have the strength because I didn't know what was going on with me. But the moment I started going for counseling, nowadays nothing can shake me. Nothing. You call me a cow, I tell you, my darling, pave way for me. Be left looking at the tail. You can as well use it to prepare some oxtail soup if you like. Nothing. No matter what you say about me. Why? Because now I understand myself better. I no longer explain myself to anybody. Stop explaining yourself to anybody. You're not obliged to explain yourself to anybody. Because the people who understand, they don't need explanation. And those who don't understand, no matter how much you explain, they will not understand. And then there are 3 things that you cannot control. What people say about you, how people think about you, and how people react towards you. You can't control that. What you can control is how you respond to it. So, you can control how you respond. That's where the difference is. But remember, don't let anybody disrespect you. Now, reasons why you should seek mental checkup. I'll start with the kids. Parents, please give your kids that gift for mental checkup. Just drop them at their counselor's office or therapist or psychologist. Give them that gift. Why? There are some conditions they are not detected, or you're not able to detect as a parent. But once when you go through mental checkup, they can be detected early. Like dyslexia, there was a couple, they thought their son is just being naughty, just doesn't want to perform in school. Unfortunately, the boy and dyslexia. I want Karamoto to talk about dyslexia. The parents who think the kids are just being naughty, they don't want to perform. And when I advised them to go for mental checkup, the boy and dyslexia. I'm not saying every child that doesn't perform as dyslexia. I'm just saying it's good for mental checkup. You can detect these conditions early enough. The second one, parents, teenagers and youths. I've worked with the teenagers and youths. There's so many things they're going through, and there's the 80-20 rule. They will tell you 20% of what they're going through, and they will not tell you the 80%. That doesn't mean you're not a good parent. You've been a teenager before you understand what I'm talking about. There are things you couldn't tell your parent. Why? Teenagers and youths, they don't feel like failures. So they may not tell you some things, and they may tell their friends. They want validation. They're going through a transition from childhood to adulthood. Their hormones are raging. Their cells are dividing. They are growing so fast. They are confused. They are trying to figure out who they are, to find a footing where they belong. And one of the things they don't like is to feel less of a person. That's why sometimes they behave the way they do. Chaotic, because they are seeking attention, validation, to be told that you're doing good. They will tell you 20% of what you want to hear, but 80% they keep to themselves or tell their friends. And sometimes by the time things happen, it's too late. But if you take them for checkup, they'll get help. And I'm telling you, children and teenagers and youths, once they start going for these checkups and counseling, their performance improves, their personality improves, their productivity, their focus, it improves. I'm telling you this, by the time I post something, I don't just post anything. It's something I've observed or I've done it myself. And for the ladies, my dear, if you can buy yourself a Gucci bag, why can't you gift yourself a mental checkup? This is a safe place. There's confidentiality. Nobody is going to tell about. Don't be afraid. There's nothing you can say that these counselors, these therapists, these psychologists have not heard or seen. Instead of you going to tell your friends, we have all gone through betrayals from friends without their friends. We are telling them something thinking they'll help. They go betraying us to other people or mocking us behind our back. Which other better place, if not to a profession who is trained? For the men, I know you and time. Yeah? So let me be practical with you, because men are practical and technical and strategic. There's something we call CBT. It is time sensitive, structured, and focuses on goals and solutions. Time limited. So for those people who don't want to go for long-term therapy or counseling, your counselor, especially men, you and talking, and you're not though that emotion that I'm saying men are practical and technical, your counselor will take you through that. Did you know you can book a session, a talk session, or a talk therapy session? They just listen. You just need somebody to listen, because I know most men are misunderstood. There's nobody who is listening to them. Instead of you banging your head on the steering or damaging your knuckles on the wall, why don't you book a session? Just somebody to listen. A safe place where there's confidentiality and consent, because you sign a consent form. Safe place and confidentiality. And then your ego, you're afraid, what will people say about me? Because men and their ego and their pride. There's nothing you can say, there's nothing you have done that has not been done in this world. And when you come for these counseling sessions, I'm not here to judge. I'm here to solve a problem. So we don't care about what you have done. What we care about is how to solve this issue. Nothing you can say or you have done that will scare these counselors. Trust me. We are here to solve a problem, not to judge you. I'm not interested in your personal life. I'm interested in improving your life. Book sessions. My number is on the description, and my email number, and my email address. Book sessions today. Do yourself a favor. Don't wait until things are bad. Apart from detecting these conditions early, we also want to reduce stigma. You see the kind of things that are being on social media, the things I have gone through too. Because if you have people who are mentally stable, they will not be behaving this way. Because some of the people, they are just trying to project their frustrations on other people. Their traumas. They don't know how to handle them. I'm not condoning disrespect, but if you have people who are mentally stable in the society, this stigma will reduce. Then we are trying to improve mental health wellness in the community. Mental checkup will help that. Then prevention and intervention. Like I saying, early detection of these conditions. We are seeing this abuse and violence in the society, in the relationships. By the time somebody raises a hand on somebody, that tells you that person is not okay mentally. It will mitigate violence and abuse in some of these relationships. Because if you take care of yourself and you're emotionally stable, emotionally intelligent, there's no way you're going to behave out of impulse. Beating someone, you will address your traumas and you're not going to project them on somebody. And then when you're triggered, you know how to handle triggers. You don't go abusing somebody or beating them up. Mental checkup is good. Okay? I want to encourage and to advocate for mental checkup. My dear ones, go for mental checkup. Right now, the schools have closed. Make sure your children don't go back to school without a mental checkup. As always, I love you. God loves you. And you are amazing.